When you look at your tomato plant right now, can you tell if it has too much water or too little? Most people can't, and that's not a beginner mistake. That's a gap that even experienced gardeners carry for years without realizing it. They water on a schedule, the plant looks alive, and they assume the system is working. This video is about closing that gap. We've covered the planting hole, the bone meal, the Epsom salt, the calcium, the foundation that sets up everything else. We covered what happens in those first 2 weeks after planting, why the plant sits still, and what that new leaf at the top actually means. If you haven't seen those yet, I'll leave both links in the description. They're worth watching in order. Now the plant is growing, and the next thing that either builds on that foundation or starts pulling it apart is how you water from here. I used to think watering was just about keeping the soil from drying out. It took me a while to understand that every time you water, you're also deciding how deep those roots are going to grow. In August, when the heat arrives and the soil surface dries out fast, that difference decides whether your plant keeps producing or starts dropping flowers and stalling out. And by the time most people figure that out, the summer is already half over. Roots don't grow randomly, they grow toward water. Every time you water, you're sending a signal underground, and the roots follow that signal wherever it goes. Water 2 inches down, the roots stay 2 inches down. Water 6 inches down, the roots go looking for it at 6 inches. This is why the same tomato plant can end up with 2 completely different root systems depending on how it was watered in May and June. One plant has roots that reach deep into the soil where moisture stays consistent even when the surface dries out. The other has roots clustered near the top, completely exposed to every heat wave and every dry stretch. A shallow-rooted plant needs you every morning. It wilts the moment the surface dries. It splits its fruit when you finally water after a dry spell because the roots can't regulate intake fast enough. It drops flowers in August heat because it simply doesn't have the infrastructure to keep up. A deep-rooted plant handles dry days without drama. It keeps producing when other plants in the same neighborhood start stalling. Water your tomatoes regularly is the advice everyone gives. What it leaves out is that regular shallow watering and regular deep watering build completely different plants. That's what's actually at stake every time you pick up the hose. Before getting into how to water, there's something more useful that almost nobody covers. How to read the plant before you water. Your tomato plant is telling you exactly what it needs. It's been doing it the whole time. Most people just don't know the language. The first signal is one that most gardeners have seen without knowing what it means. Early in the morning, look at the very edges of the leaves. If you see tiny water droplets sitting right at the leaf tips, not dew, but droplets coming from inside the leaf itself, that's called guttation. It's the plant releasing excess moisture through its leaf edges overnight. When you see guttation in the morning, the plant has sufficient water. You don't need to water that day. The plant just told you directly. The second signal is leaf curl, and this is the one that causes the most unnecessary watering. It looks alarming. The instinct is to grab the hose immediately. What leaf curl actually means is this. When a tomato plant gets warm, it curls its leaves upward to reduce the surface area exposed to the sun. Less surface area means less water loss through transpiration. It's not distress, it's the plant being efficient. A plant doing this on its lower leaves, with the upper growth still open and green, is a healthy plant managing its resources. Leave it alone. The curl that signals thirst is different in 2 specific ways. It moves up the entire plant, not just the lower leaves. And the very edges start showing pale or slightly beige tips. That combination, full plant curl plus pale edges, means the plant has moved past conservation and is running low. That's when it needs water. Yellow leaves are the third signal, and this one surprises people every time. Yellow leaves on a tomato plant are almost never a sign of not enough water. They're usually a sign of too much. Waterlogged soil pushes oxygen out of the root zone, and without oxygen, roots can't absorb nutrients. The plant starts yellowing because it's sitting in water it can't use. Watering more at that point makes everything worse. So before you water, spend 30 seconds reading the plant. Guttation in the morning means leave it. Curl on the lower half with green tips means it's managing fine. Curl moving up the whole plant with pale edges means water today. Yellow leaves mean push 2 fingers into the soil first. If it still feels moist, the problem isn't drought. That 30 seconds replaces a watering schedule entirely, and it's the difference between reacting to how the plant looks and understanding what the plant is doing. A few years back, I watched someone water a tomato plant for a full 2 minutes straight. Hose on, soil getting dark, water starting to pool at the base. When they finished, I asked them to push a finger 6 inches into the soil right next to the plant, bone dry. All that water had wet the top 2 inches and run sideways. The roots had nowhere to follow. That's the most common watering mistake in the backyard, not the amount, but where the water actually ends up. Deep watering is simpler than most people expect. Water once, slowly, at the base of the plant. Then stop and wait 10 to 15 minutes. Let that first round begin pulling the surface tension out of the dry soil underneath, opening pathways for what comes next. Then water again, same pace, same spot. That 2-pass method sends moisture significantly deeper than 1 long pass does. The first round primes the soil. The second follows the pathway the first one opened. Same amount of water, completely different destination underground. Done slowly enough, water delivered at the base of the plant will reach 6 to 8 inches down. That's where the roots you want are going to grow. After you finish, push a finger or a thin stick 6 inches into the soil near the base. If it comes out with damp soil clinging to it, you reach the zone that matters. If it comes out dry, the water didn't get there yet. One more thing on technique. Always water at the soil level, never over the top of the leaves. Wet foliage creates the conditions where fungal disease starts, and tomatoes are already prone to it. The roots need water, the leaves don't. Frequency is the question everyone asks, and for a long time I gave the same answer everyone else does. Once a week when the plant is small, more as it grows. That's true, but it's not the whole picture. A small plant in cool May weather needs deep watering about once a week. The root system is still building and the soil holds moisture well if the planting hole was prepared right. As the plant grows and the temperature climbs, that changes. A full-size plant in July heat needs deep watering 2 to 3 times a week. By then, it's moving significant amounts of water through its system every day, especially once it's carrying fruit. What I didn't understand for longer than I'd like to admit is that those numbers assume bare soil. Mulch changes everything. 2 to 3 inches of straw or wood chips around the base with that 2-inch gap left clear around the stem holds moisture long enough to extend your watering interval by a full day or two even in summer heat. Same plant, same soil, same weather. Just that layer of material between the sun and the ground. I skipped mulching for 2 seasons because it felt like an extra step. Those were 2 seasons of watering more than I needed to. The best time to water is early morning. Water applied at the base in the morning has hours to move through the soil before the heat of the day arrives. No evaporation off wet foliage, no fungal risk from moisture sitting on leaves overnight, and the plant goes into the warmest part of the day with everything it needs. There's one thing that connects all of this to the bigger picture of why this series exists. A tomato plant with deep roots and consistent watering produces reliably through the summer. It splits less fruit. It holds its flowers through heat. It keeps going when plants in the same neighborhood start shutting down. That reliability is what separates a backyard that occasionally produces tomatoes from one that actually feeds a household. Not a different variety, not more fertilizer. A root system built correctly in the first 8 weeks, through what went into the planting hole, through the patience of the waiting window, and through how water moved into the soil every time after that. A backyard food system runs on decisions made early in the season that compound over time. This is one of those decisions. Drop a comment and tell me, when you went out to look at your plant after watching this, what did you see? Guttation, leaf curl, or something you still can't read? Tell me your zone too. The answers change more than people expect depending on where you're growing, and I read every single one. If this way of building a backyard resonates with you, subscribe. Every week through the growing season, one topic, one practical move that changes how much your backyard actually produces. The plant you're looking at right now is still deciding what kind of root system it's going to build. What you do with the hose this week is part of that decision. I'd go out first thing tomorrow morning and check for guttation before touching the hose. What you find will tell you more than any schedule ever could.